Few films have been as silly, bloody, and ludicrous as John Woo's 1997 classic, Face Off. So ludicrous, in fact, that when Colleary and Werb pitched it to their agent, they were laughed out of the office. As the movie approaches its 25th anniversary, we are sharing 10 facts about it you might not know. Will there be a sequel? Which famous scene took 4 weeks to film? Face Off fans, stick around. It'll be worth your while. For those of you who haven't seen it in a while, here's a quick recap to refresh your memory. An FBI agent undergoes facial transplant surgery in order to impersonate the criminal mastermind who murdered his son. Unfortunately, the criminal wakes up prematurely and seeks revenge. So let's get into it. Did you know that Face Off's stylized action sequences and the performances by Cage and Travolta earned it critical acclaim? The film earned $245 million worldwide and was even nominated for an Academy Award. It is considered one of John Woo's best films, so it's hard to believe that Woo was not the film's original director. Director Rob Cohen of Fast and Furious and The Mummy was originally attached to direct Face Off, but he left the project to direct Dragonheart. This opened the door for John Woo to step in and take over. Before John Woo got the chance to make Face Off, he had spent the bulk of his career making movies in Hong Kong. In fact, he had only made one American film before he was hired to direct Face Off in 1996, called Hard Target. We're sure you'll agree we're glad he signed on. Like Cohen, another Hollywood luminary also turned down a chance to be part of the film and probably regretted it. Johnny Depp was considered for the leading role, but he passed on the project after reading the script. We're sure Paramount would have loved to have had him. Since John Travolta and Nicolas Cage were so good at playing the leads, it's hard to imagine anyone else in their roles, right? Well, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger were originally considered for the roles of Sean Archer and Castor Troy. Imagine the frustration of those two trying to play each other. It's probably just as well that version never saw the light of day. When Nicolas Cage was first offered the role in Face Off, he turned it down because he didn't want to play the bad guy. Then he learned that for most of the film, he would be playing Sean with Castor's face, and in fact, he would actually be playing the hero. It worked, as we know. Given that the film is filled to the brim with action, it may surprise you to learn that green screen was not used. Face Off features a lot of big action set pieces. The initial plan was to shoot them on a green screen. However, director John Woo was adamant that he wanted the film to be as realistic as possible. So all of the film's action sequences were shot in camera, with no green screens or CGI. This, of course, includes the iconic boat chase, shot in San Pedro, California, which took 4 weeks to film. It was worth it. The boat chase is still a favorite of many fans who have repeatedly watched the climactic scene throughout the years. Remember the airport shootout scene where the plane is destroyed? This had to be done in one take. No pressure then. The crew had one shot at doing it right, as they were literally destroying a plane. They used 13 cameras to ensure that they got the right shot. In the midst of all the action, stay tuned to hear which scene the director had to pay for himself. Nicolas Cage is always interesting, even when he's not in a film. Sure, his performances can be erratic, unpredictable, captivating, and capricious, but would you have guessed Cage was squeamish? When filming the scenes in which the faces were removed, all reflective surfaces had to be hidden, because Cage did not like to see the grotesque makeup used to get the effect to look so good. Thank goodness the Ghost Rider transformation was all VFX. It's time to talk about the scene that had Woo handing over his hard-earned cash. When Woo told the studio of his idea to have Adam listen to Over the Rainbow through the headphones during the FBI raid on Sasha's loft, they refused to finance it, as they were not keen on the idea. As originally scripted, the FBI raid was a straightforward action sequence, but director John Woo realized he wanted to balance the destruction and mayhem with something less depressing, and didn't give up until it was included. Woo financed the scene himself, a gamble that paid off when the film became a hit. The cast's commitment to the film definitely helped it become a hit. Before filming even began, Cage and Travolta got together to develop Archer and Troy's characters. The actors planned out the characters' mannerisms and tics beforehand, like the way their hands moved or the tone of their voices. This meant when they switched faces, they could easily slip into one another's roles. By allowing Travolta and Cage to improvise, the filmmakers enabled these actors to hone their characters' personas. According to Travolta, he added several lines where he insulted himself, including the crack about his ridiculous chin. Speaking of switches, the ending was almost different to what we see now. As you know, FaceOff ends with Archer adopting Troy's son. The movie originally ended without the adoption, but the test audience responded negatively. The studio spent a lot of money to rehire John Travolta, Joan Allen, and Dominique Swain for the ending we see now. As it turns out, the adoption ending was actually the original intent of the screenwriters. The next fact is not related to the cast or creation of the movie, but an interesting one nonetheless. Did you know FaceOff was in the first batch of films Paramount released on Blu-ray? In 2008, after initially backing HD DVD in the format wars, Paramount saw the tide turning and jumped ship to Blu-ray. FaceOff, alongside the B-movie, were included in the first batch to be released. Now for what we all want to know. Can there be a sequel? Yes, FaceOff 2 is not just a rumor. The project was first put into production in 2019. In 2021, Adam Wingard, who directed Godzilla vs. Kong, was hired to direct the film, which will apparently be a direct sequel to the original. Let's face it, we can't wait to see it. And will the original cast return? Wingard wants both Cage and Travolta back. In fact, in an interview with Empire magazine, writer Adam Wingard revealed that the upcoming sequel is all about Nicolas Cage. Good timing, since Nicolas Cage has recently returned to being one of the most sought-after actors in Hollywood. The actor is hot property once more after a flurry of well-received films, such as Pig and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. We hope that the two actors return to their roles for the second film, but following up a massive hit like FaceOff isn't going to be easy. It was one of the most over-the-top action flicks of the 90s. Next, only the biggest of Woo fans will have picked up on his subtle tribute to Spielberg. Woo is a huge Spielberg fan, specifically of Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The shark placed on Eve's son's tombstone is a tribute from Woo to the classic thriller Jaws by Steven Spielberg. And there you have it, our top 10 list. But wait, we're about to share 5 small details from the film that they might have thought no one noticed, but we did. First, guns with carved dragons. Woo states that Castor's carved golden guns were Cage's idea, particularly the dragons carved in the handles. This is because Cage was born in 1964, which is the year of the dragon on the Chinese zodiac calendar. Second, steering wheel initials. The steering wheel of the plane has the initials JW on it, which is a clear allusion to director John Woo. Third, animatronic bodies. During the surgery sequence, Troy and Archer are actually dummies made of latex with animatronic features. The features simulate breathing and facial movements. Fourth, plumber boots. The magnetic boots that Archer wears in prison are the same ones Goombas wear in Super Mario Bros. The filmmakers repurposed them for FaceOff. Number 5, the InGen Company. In the prison during Archer's escape, you can see a cabinet marked InGen. The InGen Corporation in Jurassic Park is a genetic research company which strives to clone dinosaurs. Does this mean that FaceOff and Jurassic Park exist in the same universe? We enjoyed the trip back to 1997, and we hope you'll enjoy the re-ride knowing these facts. I mean, no matter how many times you watch it, it won't get old. We don't know what the plot will be for FaceOff 2, but the possibility of John Travolta and Nicolas Cage starring in another action film together is enough for us right now. Let us know in the comments below what you're most excited for. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.